Hey, my name's Ko, that's spelled K-O-U, and this is That's Just Primed, Never Painted. You're watching the Adepticon montage, recap, and haul video, so this is a bit of an unscripted one. I do apologize in advance for any audio quality issues, any shaky camera work, and if I stumble over my words here and there. I'll try my best, but I really am not willing to re-record any of this. And I will also say I may or may not be talking through the entire video, so do enjoy these bits of silence here and there as I simply run out of things to talk about. So this was my first time going. There was a bit of preparation leading up to this convention, but I have been a long-time convention goer, starting off with TFCon Toronto 2009. That was a very life-changing experience, and I became someone who lived for this type of thing. And Adepticon was a really good reminder of why I started going to these sorts of conventions in the first place, to experience, sides of all of my hobbies, all my interests that I normally never really get to experience. That's a bit difficult to find in my local community. So Adepticon was a lot of fun. I arrived there on the 19th, had a couple of days to kind of relax, chill out, explore some of the local hobby shops. I dropped by Grognard and on the 19th, and they were getting ready to actually vendor at the actual convention. So a lot of their shelves were empty as I was browsing, but I did pick up a couple of things here and there. Notably an RB painter, hydrofoam for my wet palette. So you can never go wrong with that. I gotta make sure that I have a lot of those, even though I am I don't change them out too often. So it's just nice to have a huge stockpile of those. But once the Wednesday or whenever the Warhammer preview came around, I did attend that. I already had my badge. I picked up my water bottle. It's a very cool water bottle. I do love it. I got the red one because my favorite color. If you can't tell, it's red. Got all of that. Went into the Warhammer preview to sit at the back of the room and watch them play a pre-recorded video for all of us. But I did get a cool collector's card, so there was something that did come out of it. And I don't have a lot to say on what was shown. I'm not really a huge Age of Sigmar or fantasy person. If I ever get into those systems, I guess I'll find those really cool. But I am mostly a 40k person, mostly a 40k guy, and it was pretty quiet for us on that day. I was expecting some more orc reveals. I am a huge orc and Blood Angels player, but there wasn't much. But all of the models that were revealed do look pretty cool, and that was it really. There was nothing notable that happened for me after that. Nothing really stuck with me, so that's really it. I kind of just left the ballroom and went to go browse some of the booths that were open. I browsed some of the 3D printed terrain, browsed the BattleTech booth for a bit, but I think my longest, the most of my browsing time for the first evening was at the Bits booth, where they were selling a bunch of bits and secondhand minis, which are really cool, so I decided to browse those for a bit. There's a bit of cool finds, but obviously I didn't pick a lot of those up. I tried to control myself as it was the first day. I didn't want to blow my entire budget on that booth, but I did go back to revisit it a number of times. But some notable finds were Angron, Mortarion, and there were a lot of orc models, but I think the Angron and Mortarion models were very popular. I think they were snatched up literally like the next day or just that evening, so that was definitely something. So the second day was spent perusing the entire vendors hall while the crowds were still kind of, sparse. It was a Thursday after all. I wanted to get as much shopping done as I wanted to. I wanted to see what I maybe wanted to buy, figure out what was maybe going to be gone by the Friday, what could be a popular item. So that was a bit of fun, a bit tactical, a bit of tactical window shopping. I did also take a lot of footage of the minis on display, showcasing, a lot of the paints, a lot of the sculpts. Those are really cool. The Ravage Star booth definitely caught my eye on the first day because it was just this huge diorama, this huge board with a lot of minis on it, but not just a lot of minis, a lot of minis that were painted incredibly well. I was drawn to the Veil Touched because I am a huge fan of purple as well, in addition to red, and all of the bugs because the bugs are really cool. They've got some really cute designs. I don't know how else to explain it, but they were very. I was very fond of just staring at them for very long periods of time, and I went back to that booth a few more times over the weekend to pick up some of their minis that they had left over from their campaign. So that was a lot of fun. And after that, I stopped by the Warhammer booth, which you can probably see or have seen already. I didn't get anything here. You really only go here for the Forge World stuff. Otherwise, I can just pick it up in LGS or anywhere else, really. I wasn't about to pay MSRP for whatever I wanted. That would set me back quite a few teeth, actually. But it was fun to peruse the dealer's hall and get to talk with all the vendors, and it really reminds me again why I go to a convention in the first place, and particularly why I dove into this hobby, because there's a really great receptiveness to new people, to people who are just getting into the wargaming side of things, actually playing the tabletop and getting involved with those systems, and actually getting into the painting and all the models, trying out new things, learning, getting out of my comfort zone. It's great. It was this weekend really allowed me to let my guard down and just relax, just peruse, and just talk with people, demo games, and it really inspired me to kind of go home and finish the rest of my backlog. But as you'll see in the haul section, I've added on to it, so it'll be a while longer. We all have our piles of shame, and I think it's just best to accept if you're new like me and who has been involved in other hobbies. I build a bunch of gunfly. They'll never be done, and that's what'll keep you going. It's one way. That's one way of looking at it. But this hobby has been great for, in spite of that, I guess, stress. It's been a great way for me to center myself. It's been a great way for me to let down my guard, recollect myself, escape from all the ugliness of the world, and just learn the system, play games, and paint minis. And I do love painting minis. I don't like building them as much anymore, though. That's probably why I picked up so much of the Ravaged Star minis, because I found out they were they all came packaged, like assembled. I know some of the larger ones, like the Assailant Devourer, required some assembly, but it wasn't anything like removing mold lines, cutting it from the runners, cutting off bits of plastic, nothing like that. I've gotten a bit tired of building lately. That's what building a bunch of boys will do to you. That's what painting 1,000 point of orcs will do to you. Still do the army, so we'll see what happens as it goes on. But on the topic of actually demoing games, I did get to try out the new Halo Flashpoint miniatures game, which I was a bit disappointed in from a system standpoint, and I guess its potential when it was initially unveiled. No, like the sculpts are great. Like I got a really good look at the sculpts. You probably saw the footage just now. Great Spartan sculpts, great elite sculpts. But I wasn't a huge fan of it being Spartans only. But after having run like a demo, I see that this is more of a game that's, I guess, fast-paced, does get the dopamine going. It's got exploding 8s. It looks like it's supposed to be very friendly to those who aren't doing a lot of wargaming, who haven't really gotten into it. So it could be a really nice introductory game, and that could help them break out into other more crunchy systems. But I did kind of ask more questions about factions, and I did receive a positive response, and the elites, of course, were a great indicator of what was to come. So that was really cool. And I think after I browsed a lot of the exhibitors hall, I went up to the second floor to look at all the Golden Demon entries, and of course, because it was Thursday, there wasn't really much there to look at, but what was there to look at was super, super cool. So it inspired me quite a bit. Normally looking at such skillfully painted miniatures with all these different techniques is sometimes, especially for new people, a little bit demotivating, because you see the gap of what someone else has done and what you can accomplish. Um, but I think in this case, it was just inspiring. Like, I think the confidence of it all, of having your miniatures handled by other people and placed into a display case for other people to take photos and videos of, is something else, something to be applauded. I guess, like, it's nice. It was really cool. If you've been stuck in for this long, I do want to apologize, especially given the fact that I've been all over the place with what I talk about, and I do realize that it is a bit hard to follow, since what I say doesn't necessarily match with what's on screen at the moment. So sorry, but that's not going to change anytime soon. I do want to spend as little as time possible editing the video, so there's not going to be a lot of matching. There's going to be some footage that shows up, and it'll have been something I talked about maybe like 5 minutes ago. So sorry, or you're welcome if you're into that sort of thing. And if you are, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more shoddily edited videos like this. And with that out of the way, let's get back into the video. Over the course of the weekend, I actually got the chance to try out the Battletech simulator pods, which were a lot of fun. It was a very cathartic experience for me as someone who is into mecha. I had 2 matches over the course of the weekend. I tried out my first match in a beginner suit, and I should also note there was a large variety of suits to choose from. I don't remember which game this was. I think this was Firestorm. But I did try out a beginner suit to get used to the controls, and after the training segment of the whole experience, I made every single mistake under the sun that they warned me against, but I got used to the controls by the end of the match. So that learning experience better equipped me for my second round, which was with the Assassin 2, which was a very, very fast mech, which allowed me to maneuver around opponents, shoot them in the back, and get out of their line of fire. It was a very satisfying mech to use. I clicked with it quite well. As you can see, I do remember its name as opposed to the first suit I tried out. And if I ever get the chance to try these out again, I would continue using the Assassin 2. It was a lot of fun to just poke people and get really easy shots off. And that was sort of the refreshing part of the con, being able to stop and pace myself from time to time to actually talk with people and try out different things, demo different games. As I've been a long-time convention goer, I've primarily been attending anime conventions, large-scale, like Comic-Cons, anything from superheroes to horror to, and again, anime. It's been a very few interesting years to try and attend these events and just be disappointed with a lot of things in general. Notably, like, I think recently there was the March Toronto Comic-Con. There was a lot of stuff going on with that. I think attendance for that event in particular has exploded in the last few years, and I think one of the most standout controversies, which kind of made me glad I didn't attend one of the days, was that on the Saturday, there was someone pickpocketing and just stealing phones and other things from attendees just because it was so crowded, and they could take advantage of that because it was Saturday. In contrast to, over here at Adepticon, I didn't have to wait in ridiculously long lines, save for the Warhammer event, but that actually moved fairly quickly and was relatively tame in my experience. And I was able to, actually meet new people, get contact information, and not really forget about them, and, actually keep up with them after the event. It was really good, and I was able to pass the time, like, just chilling out as well. Like, I could really relax and kind of let my guard down at this event, and it was really, really impressive and refreshing overall. Saturday was a very good day, and it surprised me, even though there were a lot of people I was able to get around. And of course, everyone that I talked to, that I met, was super cool. I met some content creators that I obviously looked up to very much. Ran into Angry Joe, which was a very, very huge surprise, but it was his first Adepticon too, which is really cool. But everyone I talked to was super eager to share and talk about their experiences within the hobby, whether it was painting, building up their painting skills, how long they'd been painting for, what kinds of tools they used, or whether it was the games or armies they have experience with, whether playing with them or against them, using these different units, taking part in different friendly tournaments with all these cool custom stratagems. It was cool to like hear and just get all that information unloaded onto me and just absorb. And that's something I'd been missing from a lot of conventions here for a long time, since you got to do so much moving. You got to really pick and choose all of your events. You really got to fight the crowd, fight the attendees, fight the people. Not literally, hopefully not. Hopefully no one's fighting attendees, no one's fighting each other. I certainly wasn't, just for the record. I wasn't hitting anyone, but obviously what I mean by that is getting through the crowd, trying to secure your place in a very limited, I guess, event. For instance, if you're trying to attend a panel and there's just not enough room. I had that unfortunate experience at Anime Expo in 2023 last year, and it wasn't fun. I think it actually did ruin my day quite a bit, but the only thing that kept me going was, of course, the new people I'd met, and they found me after that. I guess we'll call it an incident, but I don't think it deserves such a such a heavy word. Inconvenience. There you go. But that's why Adepticon overall pretty good, and just like even walking around itself, when I wasn't just demoing games, buying merch, or talking to people was also a treat, because I got to appreciate like a lot of the play areas. Like I loved looking at the terrain, I loved looking at the setup, how they were painted, just filming and capturing a lot of things with people's permission. I have a few display boards that I have photos of, not videos, so you won't see them on here. But it was really cool to see like excuse me, lots of painted pieces of terrain and lots of display boards with all these really cool miniatures. And I was a bit nervous walking around, actually, since I had by Saturday in the afternoon I had such a full and big backpack. I really was like looking over my shoulder all the time to ensure I didn't like smash into someone, or even worse, smash into like a display case or someone's board with all their minis on it. That would have been extremely terrifying, because I don't even like touching or breathing on another person's miniature. So that would have I think that would have had quite the effect on me. But thankfully, I was careful. I made sure to just remove my backpack in incredibly tight spaces, and just I was very careful. It was really good. And browsing all the Golden Demon stuff, I'm glad I was able to do in the first few days, but I don't think I really checked it out on the Saturday, and I went home on the Sunday because I had a few things to do during the week. And I guess to tie up these thoughts, it's best to talk about the rumors surrounding the possible venue change for Adepticon next year, which will be interesting. I thought overall this was a very comfortable, good-looking venue that had not just a lot of things close by to it, but it was also very easy to get through no matter what hotel you chose. There was a lot of hotels in the area, so if those rumors are true and there is hopefully not a date change, but a venue change for the next year, it'll be just as easy and hopefully a bit more affordable for the next year, or whatever year I decide to go again. Alright, let's get into the haul. This was all the stuff that I picked up at Adepticon. I do have a few regrets in things that I missed out on, but I was particularly happy with what I picked up. First off are these bits that I picked up for my orcs and blood angels, and for the blood angels it's mostly just a bunch of heads and pauldrons. I don't think I'll be short on bits for either faction anytime soon. As you can see over here, I've clipped out a lot of them already, put them into my organizers, and figured out that I may or may not have enough room for these. So I might need a few more tubs, I might need a few more bins, I suppose. And moving on, we've got some artist opus brushes for detail work. This is the Series M, and I got a size S1 and S3. And here's a highlight for my purchases as well. I wasn't going to buy any models during the convention, but these Ravage Star minis looked a little too good in spite of their detail to not pick up. And of course, I had to pick up some custom dice for my orcs, for my boys. War boss has got to have good dice, so that was from the Dice Baron. Got a nice bag and about 50 dice. And of course, War Boss needs his tank hunters. So these are some really nice models from Cromlech. I would have picked up more, but I'm trying to avoid putting more projects on the table, but I couldn't miss out on those. And these are some Adam Smart Paints, which I picked up. These are, I've worked with them a bit already. They're really good for blending, they're really good for mixing, and they've been very, very easy to work with. The white in particular I am fond of because it's not something that gunks up details, because I tend to do eyes and bones with that as the base coat. So it doesn't really take out any details. It's great. And these are some Terminators that I picked up, some secondhand Terminators for the Blood Angels, and they're very cute. I kind of couldn't resist them. I won't be doing anything to them. They're just really nice pieces to have. This is just some D&D mini that I plan on priming and painting, or sorry, just priming. Just priming a little bit into the future. It's going to be red, obviously, because that's my favorite color. And, you know, part of this regret is seeing how much all of this stuff tends to clog up my hobby space, so I will need to clean this up after the video a little bit later. There is a bunch of stuff I need to reorganize, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with my purchases. I'm very excited to paint a lot of these Ravage Star minis over here. The detail is very intimidating, I think, but once I get a good base coat, once I give them a good Zenithal Prime, I think I'll be able to pick out things very easily and plop some paint on really easily as well. I plan on going for a red and probably a non-metallic gold color scheme. I haven't decided on the color of the cloaks just yet. If you have any suggestions, please drop a comment, put me into the algorithm, like and subscribe. I'm not sure if I'll show off those paint jobs, but who knows, they'll probably show up in a video at some point if I ever finish them for the next one. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of these sculpts, but obviously they're very, very intimidating as someone who is only really painted very simple primary Space Marines and Orcs. So it'll be an interesting experience to say the least, but I do think it's gonna push me in my painting skills into a new height. And I picked up for my first purchase actually at the convention these BattleTech books. Wolves on the Border I've already read. It's a great one shot, absolutely love it. Wolves, Dragoons all the way. I plan on picking up more sometime soon, but for now I'll settle for these and actually work through them and make sure I read them cover to cover. And I think that should wrap up the haul section of the video. What you're seeing right now is a bunch of videos which have hopefully come out well, of a lot of Golden Demon entries that I've taken. I won't be narrating over these since there's not much for me to talk about. I'm still quite inexperienced as a painter, but hopefully you can click off now or enjoy the rest of the video and these entries. So again, thanks so much for watching, tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're feeling up for it. Don't feel pressured. You can always do it. You can always unsubscribe a little later on. You can always change that like into a dislike later. But I plan on doing a lot more than Warhammer on this channel. I have a massive Gunpla backlog to get through, and I've got another convention coming up, 2 more conventions coming up that I will probably be doing similar recaps on. So stay tuned, and I'll see you all next time.